The call of truth and latent power. Have you ever felt lost in an emotional labyrinth, where reality is distorted and your self-worth is questioned? Have you ever wondered why some relationships leave you exhausted, drained of energy, even though you started with hope? This is not a random question, but an echo from the depths of every soul yearning for psychological freedom and genuine connection. Society often teaches us to recognize overt manipulators, the loud and arrogant ones. But there is a more dangerous kind of predator, moving silently, hiding in plain sight. They are charming, appear vulnerable, and seem deeply empathetic. Yet, while playing the victim, they subtly undermine the psychological foundations of those around them. Today, Shining Mirror-LVB will equip you with the shield of deep understanding and the sword of free will to confront these challenges. We will transform manipulative tactics into powerful lessons of resilience, self-mastery, and the path to true success in life. Join us in awakening the latent power within you, decoding the labyrinths of the mind. Let's explore subtle manipulative tactics together, not to instill fear, but to equip you with knowledge and strength. Each tactic will be a piece of the puzzle, helping you complete the picture of your own emotional sovereignty. 1. The fake vulnerability trap, triggering the protective instinct and creating emotional debt. Imagine someone entering your life, and almost immediately, they open up, sharing their deepest wounds. They recount an unhappy childhood, painful past relationships, or secret fears never revealed to anyone else. This act quickly creates a false sense of intimacy, a connection that feels uniquely special. You might think, "I'm so special. They've never opened up to anyone like this." This powerfully triggers our innate protective instincts and the desire to heal. You feel like you're the only one who can truly understand and help them. But be cautious, because this is a subtle trap. Genuine vulnerability builds trust and two-way openness, where both parties share and support each other. In contrast, fake vulnerability creates a one-sided burden, turning you into the one responsible for the other person's emotions, happiness, and even their choices. Each secret revealed isn't genuine sharing, but can become manipulative ammunition later. Each wound displayed a justification for their unreasonable behavior or demands. Always remember, trust is a precious gem to be exchanged, but false vulnerability is a gilded cage that traps your freedom. Ask yourself honestly, is there a fair, two-way emotional exchange in this relationship, or are you constantly giving, while the other person only receives and adds to your burden? Taking emotional hostages, when others' emotions become a control tactic. After successfully laying the fake vulnerability trap, these emotional predators subtly begin the game of taking emotional hostages. They learn how to trigger your guilt, fear, or protective instincts at will. A small gesture, an unintentional word from you, can cause them to shift from cheerful and normal to utter despair, tears, or explosive anger, creating the illusion that you possess immense power over their happiness and emotional state. But in reality, that's precisely how they assert power and control over your own happiness. You will feel immense pressure to constantly keep them happy, fearing upsetting them. Engrave this in your mind. In this scenario, their emotions are not genuine reactions, but strategic tools for manipulation. They don't cry because they are deeply sad. They cry because crying yields desired results, attention, concessions, or making you feel guilty. They don't get angry because you made a mistake. They get angry because anger makes you comply, avoid conflict, or yield to their will. You will feel as if you were walking on an emotional minefield, constantly having to be cautious and self-censoring. Remember this powerful statement: do not let the emotions of others become the chains that bind your soul. Be the master of your own self, of your own inner world and emotions. You are not responsible for other people's emotions, especially when those emotions are used as a means of manipulation. Gaslighting, when your mind is questioned. This is the most insidious manipulative tactic, a direct assault on your very perception of reality. The manipulator will constantly make you doubt your own memories, experiences, and judgment until you become completely reliant on their version of the truth. When you remember something differently, their version is always asserted as the only truth. When you perceive their behavior as problematic, the problem is instead blamed on your distorted perception. They will brazenly deny what you heard, what you saw, or even what they said, making you gradually doubt your own sanity and ability to assess situations. The ultimate goal is to disorient you, weaken you, and make you more easily controlled. The invisible cage of gaslighting is built by destroying your fundamental trust in your own perception. You gradually stop trusting your instincts, stop asserting your needs and rights. The manipulator exploits your rationality, your devotion, and especially your empathy to create a state of chronic psychological confusion. A fog in your mind. Always hold firm to your belief in yourself and the truth. Remember, truth is light, and the one who distorts the truth is darkness. Hold firm to the torch of reason in your hand. Trust your own memories and feelings. If necessary, seek validation from trusted friends, those with an objective perspective. The performance trap. When love becomes labor. Following tactics that distort reality. The emotional predator sets another highly subtle trap, the performance trap. They transform the relationship into a never-ending evaluation session, where you are constantly being graded and found lacking. Every interaction, every effort you make, no matter how small, is judged against impossible and constantly shifting standards. Today, you might do something well. Tomorrow, the criteria change, and you once again become inadequate. You will feel like you are performing for an audience that is never satisfied. An endless loop of effort and disappointment. This trap exploits your natural desire to contribute, to please, and to be accepted. The manipulator uses a technique called intermittent reinforcement, occasionally granting you a glimmer of hope. A small compliment, a moment of approval, but never giving you full satisfaction or the feeling of unconditional love. The goal constantly shifts, creating a psychological addiction to their approval, making you perpetually chase something unattainable. Remember, true worth doesn't need to be proven or graded. It shines from within, independent of anyone's approval. Genuine love is unconditional, a mutual acceptance, not an unpaid labor contract where you constantly have to prove your value. The emotional blackmail economy, when your emotions are worthless. In this relationship, a deeply unequal dynamic is established. Their emotions are limitless and take absolute priority. While your emotions are considered worthless or secondary, they demand complete emotional acceptance, boundless listening, and absolute empathy from you whenever they experience any emotion. However, they offer no similar support when you need it. When they are sad, everything seems to halt. The world must revolve around their pain. But when you are sad, you are told to get over it, to be strong, or your feelings are minimized and dismissed. Their emotional needs are mandatory. You must meet them immediately, while your needs are optional, to be met or not, at their whim. This is a subtle form of emotional manipulation, where your emotional value is systematically diminished. This pattern creates a structure akin to emotional servitude, where you are trained to associate your normal, legitimate emotional needs with negative traits like weakness, demandingness, or selfishness. They not only ignore but also undermine your emotions, making you feel guilty for expressing them. You learn to suppress your genuine reactions to maintain harmony, leading to emotional numbness and disconnection from yourself. Remember this. Be the guardian of your own emotions. Do not let them become hostages in someone else's game. Your emotions are entirely valid. You have the right to have needs, and you have the right to expect reciprocity, respect, and empathy in every relationship. Assassination of competence, destroying self-belief. After making you doubt your reality and emotions, the manipulator takes another step, launching a campaign of assassination of competence. They systematically destroy your belief in your own abilities, judgment, and problem-solving skills. They question every decision and every action you make, often under the guise of helping or sharing a constructive opinion. However, the true intent is to sow seeds of doubt in your mind. Gradually, you begin to doubt your independent capabilities and become dependent on their guidance, or even their approval, for everything. This tactic creates a deep psychological dependency. Their competence is always implied to be superior to yours, making you feel perpetually inadequate and never quite capable of doing things on your own. The goal is to undermine your autonomy, turning you into someone weak and easily controlled. Always remember, trust in your own abilities, for they are the lighthouse guiding you through every storm. Cherish your achievements, no matter how small, and never let the words or actions of others shake your unwavering belief in your inherent capabilities. Your inner strength is invaluable. The isolation protocol, severing your support network. After making you doubt yourself and become emotionally dependent, the manipulator deploys the isolation protocol. They won't directly forbid you from seeing friends or family, but they make those interactions emotionally costly in a terrifying way. They find minor issues or create criticisms about your friends, badmouth your family, sowing seeds of doubt about the goodwill of those around you. They might even manufacture an emotional crisis or an unexpected incident that conveniently coincides with your plans, forcing you to choose between them and your support network. Gradually, you'll find it easier and less exhausting to minimize social interactions, even cutting ties with people you were once close to. The ultimate goal of this tactic is to make the manipulator your sole source of interaction, support, and validation. They want you to be completely emotionally dependent on them, with no one else to confide in, seek advice from, or find comfort with. You'll feel disconnected from friends and family without understanding why, as if you've simply drifted away. Etch this into your mind: your support network is the fortress of your soul. Don't let anyone destroy it. Actively maintain and nurture healthy relationships with your friends and family. They are your reality check and a strong source of strength, helping you identify and resist manipulation. The guilt machine, creating endless emotional debt. After isolating you, the manipulator activates another mechanism to maintain power: the guilt machine. In this relationship, they constantly position themselves as the giver, the one who sacrifices, while you are the receiver. Perpetually indebted, they possess an extraordinary memory for every minor favor they've done for you, even from the distant past, but completely forget everything you've done or sacrificed for them. This creates a chronic sense of guilt within you, making you feel perpetually indebted to them and forced to accept unfair treatment because they've done so much for you. This guilt machine exploits your natural desire for fairness, reciprocity, and gratitude. Your wish to be a good partner, a responsible person, is weaponized against you. You constantly feel inadequate, unworthy of what they have bestowed. Remember this: genuine gratitude does not come with the burden of guilt, but with the freedom of the heart and voluntary exchange. Do not let guilt control your behavior or force you to endure what you don't deserve. A healthy relationship involves a balanced give and take, not a one-sided ledger of debt. Hope addiction, the trap of rare positive moments. This is the pinnacle of emotional manipulation, a tactic that traps you in a cycle of waiting and blind hope. The hope addiction trap. The manipulator provides just enough genuine connection, warm affection, or rare positive moments, emotional breadcrumbs, to keep the flame of hope alive within you. But these moments are incredibly infrequent and unpredictable, leaving you constantly craving and searching for them. This is identical to gambling addiction. You become addicted to the infrequent emotional jackpots. Despite long periods of neglect, criticism, or poor treatment, your brain is programmed to believe that if you keep staying in the relationship, you'll win the prize again, that moment when they are kind, loving, or attentive. These rare highs are not proof of deep compatibility or genuine love, but clear evidence of psychological manipulation that creates artificial emotional intensity. The manipulator knows exactly how to keep you hooked, to keep you under control by giving just enough for you not to give up. Always be vigilant and remember, don't let dazzling flashes of light blind you to the perpetual darkness of disrespect and inconsistency. Evaluate your relationship based on the consistency of respect, support, understanding, and unconditional love, not on fleeting moments or rare emotional prizes. Transformation into an emotional device when you lose yourself. After all the subtle manipulative tactics, the ultimate goal of the emotional predator is to transform you into an emotional device, a tool existing solely to serve their needs. Without any needs or desires of your own, you automatically prioritize their emotions, anticipate their every need, and feel profound guilt when you can't immediately solve their problems, or when you can't make them happy all the time. You gradually lose your voice, your personal interests, and live entirely according to the other person's emotional orbit. This is an accurate description of how psychological manipulation works. Your independent identity is eroded and replaced by a role designed to serve the manipulator's interests. You are no longer yourself, but an extension of them. Always remember, protect your identity as you would your most precious gem, for it is the foundation of all your worth and happiness. Genuine love is mutual respect, encouragement, and support for both parties' growth, not the loss of oneself to become another's device. The path to true freedom and happiness. The manipulative patterns we've just explored are not coincidental. They are sophisticated psychological strategies designed to exploit fundamental vulnerabilities in the human psyche. Manipulators often operate from a zero-sum psychological framework. They believe that psychological resources like power, energy, and worth are finite, so another person's strength diminishes their own. This explains why they cannot celebrate your successes, support your confidence, or validate your perceptions. For them, your very existence is a threat. The power of recognition. Recognition is the first step towards psychological freedom. Once you truly understand these patterns, you will begin to see them at play in real time. This insight will break the manipulative spell, allowing you to regain clear thinking, dispelling the mental fog they create. This is not an issue that can be solved with better communication or more effort. These are psychological strategies that require your unconscious participation. When you cease to participate, when you stop reacting according to their script, those patterns lose their power, and they will no longer control you. Building emotional sovereignty and reclaiming self-trust. Psychological freedom demands the development of emotional sovereignty, the ability to maintain your own emotional center. Regardless of the other person's emotional state, their emotions are their responsibility, and your emotions are your own. This does not mean becoming callous or unemotional, but rather maintaining healthy boundaries so you can care and love without becoming psychologically enslaved or emotionally drained. The path to freedom also requires rebuilding trust in your own perceptions and judgment. Learn to trust your experiences, your instincts, even when others offer conflicting explanations or attempt to distort the truth. Your feelings are valid, regardless of their interpretations or denials. This process is challenging, requiring courage and perseverance. But on the other side of this recognition is genuine freedom, the ability to engage in relationships from a position of psychological strength, not desperation or dependency, towards genuine relationships and true happiness. Understanding manipulation is not about becoming cynical towards everyone, but about developing psychological sophistication, the ability to discern genuine connection from false intimacy. This knowledge is a sturdy shield, protecting you from wasting years of your life, sacrificing your mental and emotional well-being for relationships that will never truly be fulfilling. More importantly, it helps you recognize and truly appreciate genuine emotional health when you encounter it, an authentic love where mutual respect, understanding, and growth are paramount. The choice is yours. You can continue to accept any terms out of fear of loneliness, or you can build psychological strength so that others must offer genuine partnership and true respect during your valuable presence. One path leads to captivity disguised as love, the other leads to genuine freedom, making true intimacy possible. The difference is not luck or circumstance. It is knowledge and courage to change. Choose wisely, for your psychological sovereignty and happiness depend on it. If this analysis has resonated with you, if it has illuminated uncomfortable truths about someone you care about or about your own relationship, I encourage you to hit the like button on this video and subscribe to my Shining Mirror-LVB channel now. Your interaction is not just support, it helps ensure these vital conversations continue. That each of us is equipped with the knowledge to understand and master the psychological dynamics in our relationships. Understanding manipulation is not just knowledge, it is survival information that everyone needs to protect themselves from psychological predators who disguise manipulation as love. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you experienced similar situations? What life lessons have you learned from them? How did you find the wisdom to overcome? Let's collectively build a community where success is not just about material gains but about self-mastery and true happiness.